It's a day of celebration in Major League Baseball as we remember the anniversary of Jackie Robinson breaking baseball's color barrier. But today it's also played against the somber backdrop of the events of yesterday in the Boston Marathon. And we welcome you into Cleveland Indians baseball here at Progressive Field. Matt Underwood with Rick Manning. So many storylines to talk about. We'll get to all of them during the telecast tonight. But as we start this game tonight, Rick, focusing on baseball, what's going through the minds of Terry Francona and John Farrell as they lock horns here tonight?
Well, it has to be a special night for Terry Francona, an organization that he won 2 World Series with. First time he's had an opportunity to go back and play against that organization. It should be something very special. I know he's trying to downplay it a little bit on his end, but hopefully they can come out and play well for Terry for his behalf. And John Farrell, who spent many years with the Cleveland Indians organization, I'm sure he's got some emotions flowing as well.
No question about that. And then tonight we are celebrating the 66th anniversary of Jackie Robinson breaking baseball's color barrier. And now Dick Enberg takes a look back at the man who proudly wore number 42.
He was UCLA smart and Pasadena street tough, proud and handsome. The chosen one. Didn't get his chance till 28, prime years stolen, yet for 10 years, a dominant big league star. His crossing the color line was greeted with bold bigotry from fans, the press, opposing teams, and even his own Dodger teammates. His entire professional life riddled with hate and threats of death. All the while, his only emotional recourse in answering this inhuman test was to turn the other cheek. It demanded Herculean restraint. The only place for defiance and retribution was on the playing field, where Jackie could and did answer with aggression, hitting with authority and purpose, and sliding with menace. Oh yes, he played hard, all the while with a self-imposed governor on his heart. To verbally retaliate would undermine his cause. And he won. As sure as he stole home, Jackie stole prejudice from millions. His all-star excellence inspiring equality on and off the field. Sadly, he died young, only 53. No wonder. He lived with the enormous weight of fighting for every man's equal rights. Every man's. And he was still swinging at the very end.
And I have been moved by the cause that brings so many of you out day in and day out, putting your lives on the line so that America can be free.
So we pause today to salute an American hero, Jackie Roosevelt Robinson, an American heavyweight champion, knocking out prejudice and helping to win this nation's social freedom.
In downtown Cleveland, our temperature at game time will be right about 50 degrees. There was rain in the area. We had the tarp on for a good portion of late this afternoon, but we are starting on time as John Farrell brings his Boston Red Sox into town. They're off to a great start, won 3 straight. They're 8-4 on the year. And let's take a look at John's starting lineup as you see the flag at half-staff before we get underway here today. For the Red Sox, Jacoby Ellsbury leading it off, then Shane Victorino, followed by Dustin Pedroia. Mike Napoli in the cleanup spot, then Will Middlebrooks and Daniel Nava. Johnny Gomes, David Ross, and Pedro Siriaco will bat ninth.
And on the mound for the Indians, Ubaldo Jimenez. He started the opening game here at Progressive Field against the Yankees back on opening day, and this is 7 days since his last start. And in his last start, he was rocked, but had a couple of side sessions, says he feels much better, so he will be matched up against the Red Sox this afternoon. Let's check out the Kia Indians defense tonight behind him. It'll be Brantley in left, Stubbs is in center, Rayburn in right, Chisenhall at third, Cabrera at short, Aviles at second, Swisher is at first with Santana behind the plate.
Laz Diaz will call the balls and strikes. Tim Timmons is at first, Mike Winters at second, and Mark Wegner down at third. Ready to go, Jacoby Ellsbury standing in. And Ubaldo Jimenez, first pitch up high for ball one. Ellsbury hitting .255 to start the year, but if he gets on, he is a threat. Already with 5 stolen bases. For Ubaldo Jimenez, the key for him is to simply throw strikes. And also, you know, there was some debate as to whether or not the radar gun was accurate on opening day or on his first start, the home opener. Did that cause him to try and overthrow because he thought he said no, that had nothing to do with it. But obviously he did not look good in that first start here against the Yankees.
Well, he said he couldn't get loose. Chopper
up the middle. Cabrera on the move, has to get rid of it in a hurry. He does to retire Ellsbury, out number 1. Well, let's take a look at our keys to the game, Rick. And Ubaldo Jimenez velocity certainly is an issue, whether real or imagined. And the Indians would love to get Asdrubal Cabrera going offensively.
Yeah, and getting back to the velocity, it's just a matter of locating his fastball like it is every game for him. You know, he went with so many off-speed pitches in that game against the Yankees. He gave up a couple of home runs. Remember, Hafner hit the first one out, gave him 3-run first inning, but it was change-ups, a lot of sliders, you know, and rarely do you see him throw that many off-speed pitches.
Fastball up and in to Shane Victorino, who spurned the Indians' overtures in the offseason. They went after Victorino during baseball's winter meetings, but Victorino chose to sign with Boston. Pitch up and away, and it's 2-0.
Well, in a way, it's turned out to be better for the Indians because they went out and they signed Swisher. And after Swisher, they get a Michael Bourne to go out and play center field.
3 balls, no strikes. Victorino off to a good start with the Red Sox. In 48 at-bats, hitting over 300. 3-1 to count. And again, we get back to the issue of the velocity for Jimenez. 92 is still effective if you're able to locate it, throw it where you want to. And a full count now.
92 is plenty. It's a matter, 88's plenty if you know where you're going with it, if you can control it.
Now the payoff pitch. Slap to short. Cabrera sets, throws, got him, 2 down. With more on the Indians right-hander starting tonight's game, let's go downstairs to Katie Witham.
Well, Matt, this is Ubaldo Jimenez's first start since the Indians' home opener. He's thrown 2 extended bullpens where Indians pitching coach Mickey Callaway told me they really worked on closing his stride, which in doing so has really kept his tempo up and then also improved his extension and his follow-through. But as you guys both mentioned, the key for him tonight is to throw strikes.
All right, thanks, Katie. A lot of mechanical jargon there, but the longer you stride, the longer it takes for your arm to catch up to you.
Just watch him wind up, and you'll see mechanical. I mean, you can see why. He pulls the arm straight back. He long arms. He comes through, and there's a lot to get out of whack. And, you know, the easiest thing to do would be to stay short and compact. But watch, the arm comes out. It goes all the way down. He's got to catch up to it, and everything has to be perfect. It's like a hitter that has a big stride and his head drops 6 inches. It's still, you know, you got to be perfect to get it.
Yeah, at the end of the day, no matter what you do before you release the ball, you have to get back to a certain spot to be in order
whether
for it to be
you're
effective.
pitching, whether you're hitting, or whatever. You've got to get your arm out in front and throwing a downhill plane hitting-wise. You know, your hands have to be in the right area. That's why everybody is different, but everybody's got to find that point that they can do it at consistently.
Good numbers for Pedroia against Jimenez. And another 1-2. High with the heater.
Well, this is one guy that loves the high heater. He can hit a high pitch with the best of them. Not a very big man in stature, but I'll tell you what, he swings it like a big man because he can get up on top of a high fastball.
Slowly chopped to third. Chisenhall flips it over, and the Red Sox go 1-2-3. A good start for Ubaldo Jimenez. Boston is coming to bat against left-hander Felix Doubront of Boston. And Terry Francona starting lineup, presented by Progressive, making it easy to bundle your home and car insurance. Drew Stubbs, Asdrubal Cabrera, and Carlos Santana up to the 3-hole tonight. Nick Swisher, Mark Reynolds, Michael Brantley in the middle, and Mark Aviles, Lonnie Chisenhall, and Ryan Rayburn.
25-year-old Felix Doubront on the mound, and he is their youngest pitcher for the second straight year as he breaks camp. Last year, it's his second start of the year. His second start got rained out, and they just skipped him in the rotation. Last year in his career, 5-1 in 8 career starts against Central Division clubs. He's 1-1 against the Indians. Let's set that Red Sox defense. They have made only 2 errors all year long. They've been very good defensively. Nava, Ellsbury, Victorino in the outfield. Middlebrook, Siriaco, Pedroia, Napoli on the infield with Ross behind the plate.
Drew Stubbs leading it off, looks at a ball up and away from the left-hander Doubront. Stubbs into that leadoff spot with Michael Bourne sideline. Pitch outside.
Doubront with a fastball, slider, good changeup that I recall. As I mentioned, he was 1-1 against the Indians last year. But he can strike you out. Good strikeout pitcher. As the Red Sox, as a team, they lead all of baseball in strikeouts.
Down and in. He missed off the plate. And it's 3 balls and a strike. Well, Rick, you know that you're going to be without Michael Bourne for probably a week, maybe. You hope that's all it is. You don't know for sure until he gets the stitches out of that injured finger.
Right.
So Stubbs goes into that leadoff spot. There is Michael Bourne, who was in the clubhouse before the ball game talking with his teammates today. He's got the heavily bandaged right index finger. Stubbs pops it in the air. Shallow right. In comes Victorino. And that's out number 1. Our injury report brought to you by Elk & Elk. Serious lawyers for serious injuries. Call 1-800-ELK-OHIO. Bourne got 5 stitches in that right index finger. And, you know, the good news is they didn't put him on the 15-day disabled list, which meant that they would have lost him for at least 2 weeks. Now you have to believe that they'll get him back before that. Otherwise, they would have put him on the DL.
Yeah, you hope so, because now you're playing short again. You're down to that 24-man roster, and you have to wait and see. So obviously they feel like he'll be back in 4 or 5 days, maybe. You know, and we can look at that play at first base where Thornton stepped on his hand all you want. That's one of the few times I will agree where a guy can go in head first, because if he stayed on his feet, he would have ended up colliding with him anyway. And that might have been worse. So it was just unfortunate how it happened. He ended up getting a base hit, and that brought the tying run to the plate in the whole 9 yards, but it's going to cost him about a week.
Cabrera hits one in the air to center field. On the move is Ellsbury. On the track and makes the catch in the middle of the warning track for out number 2. But a much better swing, and hopefully that's a sign of good things to come for Asdrubal Cabrera. With more on the Indians walking wounded, let's go downstairs once again. Here's Katie.
Well, Matt, I spoke with Michael Bourne today. He has 5 stitches in that right index finger. He told me he's going to be out at least 10 days before they can get those stitches out and get him back on the field. As far as Jason Kipnis goes, I also had a chance to catch up with him. It's his left elbow that he's feeling a lot of soreness in. He feels it the most when he's hitting and during extensions when he's on the field. They have him considered day-to-day right now.
All right, thanks for the update, Katie. Carlos Santana taking a strike over the outside corner. Indians happy to have Santana back in the lineup, even with the loss of Michael Bourne and with Jason Kipnis on the men. 13 hits and 26 at bats for Santana. And he rips that one foul out of play. 1 ball and 2 strikes. Out to the mound, David Ross to talk with the left-hander Dubront. Switch hitter Nick Swisher on deck.
Look at that. Something looked like it affected him, whether it was a bug or something.
It did look like
maybe
maybe a bug flew in his eye.
Yeah.
Slow chopper by the mound. Middlebrooks cutting in front of Siriaco, and Santana is out number 3. So the Indians go in order. No score after 1. McDonald's new Premium McWrap. Fresh vegetables, tasty sauces, and juicy chicken in a warm tortilla. Try one today. And by Kia. No score, second inning. Ubaldo Jimenez set the Red Sox down in order in the first. 3 ground ball outs.
Yeah, that's what you like. Ground ball outs.
Mike Napoli, big offseason sign for Boston. Though it seemed like it was not going to happen for the longest time.
I was going to say, boy, there was a hold on that sign for quite some time, I guess, with the hip problem from Mike Napoli. But definitely a strong guy, and he's got good power and has good power the other way as well. You know, so sometimes when you look at that monster, I saw yesterday he got the game-winning double to drive in the run. He was fooled on the pitch, and this guy's so strong, he kept his hands back enough, and he could play pepper with that wall if he ends up pulling it. But got the game winner yesterday against Tampa.
Just missed the outside corner. And it can't count evens up at 2-2. That's hit in the gap, right center field. Stubbs over to try and cut it off. He'll get to it before it gets to the warning trap. But Napoli rolls into second base easily with a leadoff double.
Well, it looked like a changeup to me, and Napoli, he has very good pop the other way. Look at, he just shoots that ball that way. That ball had movement going down and kept his hands back enough, put a good swing on the ball. So Napoli starts off his 5th double of the year, first hit of the ball game.
Pitch up high to Will Middlebrooks. Middlebrooks had 3 home runs in that game against Toronto earlier this season, and if I remember right, he just missed hitting a 4th home run in that game too. I think he took it to the warning track.
Yes, that is correct. His last at bat, he flew out to the track.
Swung on and missed. Good change of pace by Jimenez. And a fastball count. Middlebrooks out in front of it.
I think he also had a double in that game as well.
Fastball misses down low, and it's 3-1 now.
Yes, he did.
Couldn't hold up. So both times he's had him in those dead red counts, he's gone to the off-speed pitch, and Middlebrooks has not been able to hold up.
Well, not a bad idea, and it's an excellent pitch. That breaking ball away, you get into the fastball count. You prove that to the hitters that you can throw that pitch for strikes. That'll help you through second and third time through the lineup.
Up and away, it's ball 4. The first 2 Red Sox have reached here in the second. Well, Terry Francona, certainly mixed emotions here today as he has his new Indians ball club on one side and the club he managed to 2 World Series on the other.
I had mostly 8 really good years. I don't think I got it scripted the end the way it ended, but that's, you know, and you move on. Sometimes it's time to move on. And I'm really happy where I'm at here. And I think it's unfair to the players for me to kind of, like I said the other night, have like a nostalgia week. I mean, our job is to beat them, and it is them. And it doesn't take away anything that, you know, the people that I'm close to there's a lot of them. But I like where I'm at. I think they like where they're at. So everything's pretty good.
And that's the game of baseball, man. You know, no matter how good you are, you know, you move around. And if you're a manager, you know, he had 8 good years. You manage in that town for 8 years, you had a nice run.
Yes, indeed.
So maybe it is time to move on, and we're very thrilled and happy to have him here in Cleveland. So, but that's the way sports goes. You don't last forever anymore with the same franchise or same team.
1-1 to count for Daniel Nava.
At one time you did as a player, you know, that's what you strive for, to stay with the same organization. But once free agency hit, that pretty much took care of that.
And that's outside. 2 balls and a strike.
This is what you want to see, is Ubaldo from the stretch, because sometimes he can become a different pitcher from the full windup to the stretch.
Letter high strike.
Might have been a gift call here. Well, look at that. That's up above. That's letter high. So that's the old school strike zone right there. The high strike zone. That's when I played. You'd swing at that, though. I wouldn't take it.
Breaking ball, swung on and foul tip. Jimenez gets his first strikeout, 1 down here in the second. Here's our stat of the game, brought to you by your Northern Ohio Buick dealers. Terry Francona, one of just 5 managers since 1991 to win a World Series in his first season with that team. Jack McKean down with the Marlins, Bob Brenly in Arizona, Jim Leland with the Marlins, and Joe Torre with the Yankees.
How do you top that? Your first year managing, you win the whole shooting match. It might be time to retire. You can't do any better.
Here's Johnny Gomes. Gomes we've seen over the years with the Tampa Bay Rays, with the Cincinnati Reds. Just kind of a gritty player.
Well, this is one guy. You can't throw hard enough for him. The harder, the better.
Breaking ball in for a strike.
This guy loves it in. He'll turn on it. Yeah, you better make sure you get your off-speed pitches down and over for strikes.
Good block that time by Carlos Santana on a ball in the dirt. It's 3-1 to Gomes with David Ross, the catcher, waiting on deck, and a lot of pitches piling up for Jimenez. Only 18 strikes against 17 balls so far. The 3-1 pitch, and he walked him. Second walk of the inning, and the bases are loaded with only 1 out. The batter will be David Ross. Off to a slow start. 2 hits and 12 at bats. Mickey Callaway already having to make a trip to the mound, and this is what is so baffling with Jimenez. And this will happen inning to inning, start to start. 1, 2, 3 in the first, looks like he's free and easy, and he comes out here in the second.
He was free and easy, and then the first hitter, he's out of the stretch. And then after that, now the walks are coming, and you see everything's upstairs. That at-bat against Nava, when he called the 2-1 strike upstairs, made him swing at that high slider on the second one. So he caught a break on that one, and he's been upstairs with everything because his arm's not catching up to him out of the stretch. Everything seems to be up, and that fastball, he's not commanding it.
Well, he's in the soup here. with the bases loaded and only one out. David Ross takes it up high, ball one.
I'd almost like to see him go out of the full stretch here instead of the
wind
windup.
up, yeah.
You know, just look the guy back, and I mean, he's been throwing. He had the ground ball working out of the full windup, and that's what he needs right here is a ground ball, and he's upstairs with everything. There's a good breaking ball.
The 1-1. Fastball and a good one, right down the middle, but fouled back, and it's 1-2. Napoli, who doubled to start the inning, is at third. Middlebrooks, who walked, is at second, and Gomes just drew the walk at first. Already the 40th pitch tonight for Jimenez. Just a bit outside, and the count evens at 2-2.
Well, there you'll see Santana sitting up there. It's off the dish. He's sitting on the outside edge. He wants him to miss with it to see if he'll get him to chase.
Curveball, and I don't know what was wrong with that. That looked pretty good.
Well, that one had the plate. Now this one has the plate. It's a breaking ball. Now you see he called the pitch up against Nava. That ball is up, and he doesn't get the call.
The 3-2, and it's ball four. The Red Sox lead it 1-0. 3 walks in the inning for Jimenez.
And you get, you're down to the bottom part of the lineup when you're throwing 2-2, 3-2 breaking balls. What's wrong? I mean, go with him, challenge him. Third walk in the inning.
Well, here's Pedro Siriaco, the shortstop. And a fastball in for a strike. Fouled right back. A high heater, and it's 0-2. So back-to-back fastballs, both at 94 miles an hour. Where was that in the last couple of batters?
That's the perplexing part of it. That's what you shake your head at. And Ross is a guy that was hitting, 167.
Line drive to Rake. Rayburn makes the catch. Here's the throw, cut off, and the Red Sox lead it 2-0. Siriaco gets his second RBI on an 0-2 pitch. He's able to line it to right to get the run home from third.
Well, there you go. Fastball away, and Siriaco, he's in protect mode. He's a free swinger. He's going to put the bat on the ball somehow, some way. That was off the plate, but gets a nub of it to get the sacrifice fly and drive in the run.
So Boston leads at 2-0. And with 2 down, runners at first and second for Jacoby Ellsbury. Smashed up the middle, off the glove of Cabrera into center field. Scoring is Gomes. Ross will go to third. Heck of an effort by Asdrubal Cabrera. To be honest, off the bat, I didn't think he had a chance to get to that ball. He did get leather on it, but that ball was scorched by Ellsbury.
Yes, it was. He got leather. It was hit too hard. He couldn't control it. Sinking fastball going away, and look at that ball was by Cabrera, but he made good effort. So they continue now with the 2 outs. 2-out hit by Jacoby Ellsbury, and I'll tell you, when the Indians have struggled this year is when they've given up a lot of 2-out hits.
Well, the 8th man to bat in the inning is Victorino, and Ellsbury just took off, and he's down at second. Well, his 6th stolen base of the year.
When you're a guy like Ellsbury that can steal, it's going to be a track meet, especially off Jimenez. And you can see Victorino just, he's going to take it all away.
Now the 1-0.
You know, over the weekend, we saw the Indian starters just pound the strike zone. And over that weekend series, the starters only had 2 walks against the White Sox. You come in here and you get 3 walks in the second inning by Jimenez.
35 pitches in this inning as well.
So that's a huge difference from what we saw the last 3 games. And there's some scrambling out in that bullpen.
In the dirt, Santana with a block, and it's 3-1. Cody Allen looks like he's going to get up and start to get loose. And another walk. Boy, oh boy. Bases loaded again, and the 9th man to bat in the inning is Dustin Pedroia.
Well, he hasn't started to really throw a pitch from 60 feet out there, so it's going to be a while, and you've already had the pitching coach go out to see him once. So this is on him. And, you know, that's what he did in his last start. The Yankees, a 3-run first inning, and he couldn't stop the bleeding after that.
Pedroia taking a strike. The 0-1, and a strike call. Nothing into the count. Four walks in the inning for Jimenez. Red Sox have him loaded with 2 down. Pedroia down on the count 0-2. And another good block by Santana. Now the 1-2, and that's too high. Defenders don't know what to do out there.
Well, it's no fun. You know, you're out there and deep into the counts.
2-2 offering. Fouled back out of play.
You know, what a different inning this was from the first inning. Came out aggressive out of the stretch. 3 ground ball outs and how many pitches?
15 pitches.
There you go. 15 pitches. And it's like a different guy came out to the rubber now, and it's back to a 3-2 count.
From 0-2 to 3-2. And this might be it for Francona right here if Jimenez doesn't get Pedroia.
And he's still out of the stretch.
The runners will be off with this 3-2 pitch. Oh my, ball 4, another walk. That's the 5th walk in the inning. The second with the bases loaded, and it's 4-0 Boston, and Ubaldo Jimenez's night is over.
Well, I guess the extra rest certainly did not help him. The side sessions, because it's unbelievable. Just a different guy in the second inning. Hard to believe.
He lasts just an inning and 2/3 here tonight. 59 pitches. And the Cleveland Clinic call to the bullpen. Today's call to the bullpen goes to Cody Allen when we come back. Four 4-0 Boston here in the second inning.
Yeah, a bad start for Jimenez. And again, you know, you're in the first game of a series and you're coming off an off day. The bullpen is fully rested. But this is a game that could certainly tax it, the first game of a 3-game series. So Cody Allen coming on for the 4th time. 3 walks, 3 strikeouts. Coming in here to just try and get him out of the inning. The Red Sox with 4 runs in the inning, but 5 walks by Jimenez. He threw 44 pitches in the inning. And he walked in 2 runners in this. And they only have 2 hits, and the leadoff double was by Napoli.
Yeah, there have only been 3 balls put in play in the inning.
Yeah. The sacrifice fly, the single, and the leadoff double.
Well, here's Napoli, who had that leadoff double. And Cody Allen with a first pitch strike. Down low, 2 balls and a strike. You know, the theory in baseball is that you don't push the panic button in the month of April. But at what point do you look at a starting pitcher who's given you 12 innings and 3 starts and say, hey, we got to think about something else here?
Well, they got to work with him and try and get him straightened out. Again, out of the stretch, he was terrible. He was 2 different pitchers in 2 innings. 15 pitches in inning number 1. He came out free and easy. 3 ground ball outs. You're thinking, okay, good. couple of breaking balls. He moved his fastball around. This inning, he was all over the place. Breaking balls here, and then you get to the bases loaded. He stayed out of the stretch where he had a tough time throwing strikes. Why not at least try to go back out of the full windup where you had some success in the first inning to get out of it? And no, it was terrible.
Check swing foul, full count.
It was terrible. I mean, they had an extra side session with him. They moved him back. You're on 7 days rest. And, you know, it was, I don't know. That's hard to answer.
Sure, it's got
I guess he's the only one you can ask the questions to and that can answer it. Because I certainly can. I'd be curious to see Mickey Callaway's answers.
He might not have any either. I mean, at the end of the day, it's that guy out there with the ball. It's got to get the job done. Payoff pitch. Runners go. High fly ball. Deep left center field. Back is Stubbs. On the track. It's off the fence. That's going to plate 3 more. And it's 7-0 Boston.
So the second straight start, Jimenez has given up 7.
It's a 3-run double for Mike Napoli, his second double of the inning. And all the runs charged to Jimenez.
Yeah, there's a full heater coming down middle in, and you know what? He hit the changeup to start this inning away to right center. You throw him a 3-2 fastball. He turns on this one off the scoreboard. They might be lucky that stayed in. So they do damage, and you talk about a big number on the scoreboard. A 7 spot.
Cody Allen fires a fastball by Will Middlebrooks. The 1-strike pitch nails the outside corner. And nothing into the count. A ball and 2 strikes as Santana just threw his body in front of that ball. It was nothing more he could do.
Well, this inning has sucked the life right out of the fans. It looks like, you look at the defense out there, it looks like it's taking it right out of the defense as well.
Ripped foul.
This is close
Tommy
to being
Bowe
a
probably
half hour.
has the stopwatch.
He does. It's 20, almost 27 minutes, and you know, it'll be almost a half an hour show with no commercial breaks, folks. So stay tuned.
The 1-2. Checked, it was down low. Now he rings him up. So the inning is over, but Boston explodes for a 7 spot here early. Well, Red Sox out to a 7-0 lead here. Going to the bottom of the second inning. And fans letting their feelings be known toward the folks in Boston, and our
thoughts and prayers absolutely, with no question about it. Just an unbelievable tragedy there yesterday.
I think it's shaken everyone. I talked to a friend of mine who lives there, and he said it's just very sad right now in the city of Boston. The atmosphere is very down right now, but it's a tough city, and they will bounce back. There's no doubt about that. Nick Swisher, Mark Reynolds, Michael Brantley due up this inning for the Tribe. Nick Swisher batting .270 with a home run, 4 driven in.
Well, I guess now you say, all right, go out there and be patient, see if he can find the strike zone. He's been on the bench for a half an hour. Hasn't thrown a ball, but he comes right out and throws strike one. Sometimes a pitcher can be in there for, he came out in the first inning, and he had a nice, easy first inning. A couple of fly ball outs and a ground ball out.
Ripped to center field, a base hit for Nick Swisher. So the Indians get their leadoff man aboard. Well, we can only imagine how the Red Sox players feel about what took place yesterday just after their Patriots Day game ended against Tampa Bay. Here's John Lester, Red Sox pitcher.
I think that's what makes Boston such a special place. These people up here are resilient, and they're gonna make, I would imagine, next year even better. And like I said, that's what makes this a special place. Is they're not going to back down and say, you guys ruined last year, you're not going to do it again, and make it a better day.
Lester, who makes his home in the city of Boston. There's a little foul back. I think the strange part of yesterday for the Red Sox players is, just think about their mindset. They just came off a high, a big thrilling win against Tampa. I think it was a walk-off win, right?
Yeah, it was.
They get on the team bus. They're on their way to the airport, and for those of you who've never been to Boston, you need a police escort to get a bus to the airport there because the traffic can be
especially on Patriots Day when everything in the marathon's
so
being
they've got the police escort is leading them to the airport, and all of a sudden the police escort just peels off and leaves them. And the bus driver kind of looks around and says, well, that was odd. Where'd he go? Players notice that he's gone, and then within seconds they see a police car, an ambulance, a fire truck, all passing them in the other direction, sirens blaring, and then one after another, and they all start looking at each other like, what's going on here? Then the cell phones start going off, and of course that's when they found out what had happened. And then
throughout the social media,
by the time they know what's going on, they're at the airport boarding a plane bound for Cleveland, but all of them have family members and friends who are in Boston, and imagine their feelings like they're leaving, but they don't know what's going on behind them.
Right.
So it was very disconcerting for John Farrell and his entire club. But
almost, I'm surprised they got out of the airport yesterday when they did.
I think
they let them fly out.
I think there was some concern they might not.
Right.
They weren't sure exactly what was going to happen.
Because this game would not be played if we were heading into Boston today. That's for sure.
No way. Payoff pitch. Reynolds pops it back.
Put a good swing on that one. Just missed it.
Celtics had their game canceled last night and not going to be made up. Or was it today? Today or last night? It was today. That game was called off, and it will not be made up. The Celtics will, next time they'll be home is like game 3 of their series against the Knicks in the playoffs. Payoff pitch. Reynolds fouling it over the top of the Red Sox dugout. Swung on and missed, and Reynolds out number 1. Here's the Firestone Complete Auto Care Extra Mile. And the Extra Mile Index shows us that the American League starters' ERA is topped by the Boston Red Sox. And certainly you don't win any awards for that in the middle of April. But they have to be pleased because I think there were question marks for them. You know, will Lester bounce back? Will Buchholz be back?
Well, and Lackey already had the issues. They had to walk off the mound because of a strain in his right arm. But, you know, their bullpen looks like it could be awfully good. They put Hennerhan on the DL today. And they called up Stephen Wright.
Stephen Wright,
former Indians farmhand.
Knuckleballer. Ripped to right field, and Michael Brantley's got a base hit. It kicks by Victorino, who did a terrific job to barehand that ball. And he holds Brantley to a long single. It kicked across his body, but he was able to grab it with the bare hand.
It checked up on him. And, you know, he's a former center fielder, but he goes over there to cut that ball off. I thought it was going to get by him. And watch, I don't know if the rainer had anything to do. It's like it hits and just checks right up, and he barehands it. Very athletic play. What it did, it held Michael to a single.
Yeah.
You know, if he has to catch it with his glove hand and maybe turn around and plant and throw, Michael's going to be on second base. But he hustled over there, held him to a single. It's first and third now with 1 out.
Mike Aviles went to the front of the box to fake a bunt against his former teammates. Mike off to a great start, hitting .294. Both he and Ryan Rayburn have filled in, and they've probably filled in more than anyone would have envisioned this early in the season because of various bumps and bruises and guys being nicked up. But they've done a terrific job, both of them.
What you just said, that statement, at this point of the season, I think Francona envisioned these guys playing a lot or trying to get it, both Aviles and Rayburn at bats. But you're right, not this early in the season.
There's a drive right field. Victorino on the move, makes the running catch, hangs on. Tagging at third and scoring is Swisher, so the Indians get on the board. Mike Aviles with his 4th RBI on the season. He scorched that ball to the degree that where Victorino, once he caught it, he still had to look into his glove and make sure it was still in there.
Well, unfortunately, he just saved at least 1 run for the Red Sox. He makes that running grab. He wasn't sure it stayed in the glove. It'll go as a sacrifice fly for Mike Aviles. But 2 plays in a row that Victorino did a nice job. I mean, he smoked that ball as right to right center field. But, well, the Tribe comes right back. They at least get 1 on the board. But a long way to go after you give up a big inning like 7.
Lonnie Chisenhall with 1 on and 2 out. It's too low, and the count is 2-0. right, 3 balls, no strikes. If Chisenhall reaches, Ryan Rayburn, who we were just talking about a moment ago, will get a chance to hit here in the second inning.
Well, the only 2 left-handers in the lineup tonight, Brantley and Chisenhall. Brantley got the base hit, and now he looks like he's having a tough time throwing those strikes to the left-handers. You know, you're facing so many right-handers, you get into that zone, likes that little change-up away and fastballs. Now he's got to find it for the left-hander.
I'm sure some pitchers feel differently, but a lot of guys don't mind it if you stack the lineup one way or the other against them, because, as you said, they just get into their groove and they go. But if you've got to constantly go back and forth, I think sometimes that's a better way to go when you're starting your lineup, when you're when you're loading your lineup against a lefty or a righty.
Yeah, with the switch hitters that they have in the lineup, you got Cabrera, Santana, Swisher. That's all 2, 3, and 4. But the only 2 true lefties, Brantley and Lonnie. So we'll see. He'll make the adjustment.
Fouled away. (7-1) Boston here in the second as the Indians try to climb out of a big hole tonight. And the payoff pitch is foul tipped, and that's strike 3. So the Indians get on the board, but it's 7-1 Boston after 2. Boston out to a 7-1 lead, third inning. Cody Allen came on to get the final out of the second. He'll be facing Daniel Nava, Johnny Gomes, and David Ross here in the third. Pitch up high for ball 1. Belt high fastball for a strike to even the count. And he comes right back. Another good heater to go ahead in the count now. Check to swing. No, he went too far.
Good breaking ball there by Cody.
Allen with back-to-back strikeouts in the ball game. We go back to the studios for an in-game update with Al.
Hey, Matt. Hey, Rick. The Royals in Atlanta tonight to take on the Braves. 1-0 Atlanta here in the top of the third. Chris Getz leaves the yard for the first time since July of 2009. And his first homer as a Royal took him 830 at-bats. KC leads Atlanta 2-1 in the fourth. Matt?
Now it's an interesting matchup for Kansas City, because those Atlanta Braves have been just smoking
9
hot.
straight they've won.
11-1 on the year. I heard Ned Yost on the radio today saying, well, hey, let's go get him. Ned, he wouldn't back down from anybody.
Well, Ned was with him when they were so good back in the 90s. He was the third base coach for Bobby Cox.
Yeah.
So he knows. Let's go, boys. Let's go tomahawk him. We'll go get him.
Johnny Gomes awaiting the 1-1 pitch. Everybody in the AL Central is about on par. Detroit, KC started the day 7-5. The Indians were 5-6. Minnesota was 5-7, and White Sox were 5-8. So everybody just kind of jumbled up together. Nobody's made a move of any sort yet.
Well, I mean,
that's hammered in the left center field. Stubbs cuts it off. Gomes has a 1-out single.
You don't expect it until we start getting into division of play. You know what I mean? When you're talking about somebody making a move. We played the Sox, won 2 out of 3. That's good. You move on. We've been stuck in this National League East as a breaking ball by Gomes. Smoked into left center field for a single. 4th hit for the Red Sox. Gomes walked and scored.
They got some beards, don't they?
Yeah, they do.
Gomes, Pedroia.
After the game, getting ready to go build a house.
They
do.
right.
Those are the things. That's like Stanley Cup time, man. You know, when you
playoff beard.
Yeah.
Hit hard to third and by Chisenhall. Down the line, Brantley over to cut it off. On his way to third is Gomes. So ball was hit hard, but Chisenhall unable to knock it down. And so the Red Sox have him at the corners with 1 out.
Well, he throws that low fastball down and in that Ross smokes. Chisenhall gets over there. I thought he had a chance on the backhand side, but it just gets under his glove. That thing was hit sharply. So they have him at the corners. The double play still alive, but here's a free swinger and a guy that he better hit it right at somebody if you want to turn it.
Pedro Siriaco. And a first pitch strike. First of 7 meetings between the Indians and the Red Sox this year. Tribe will be in Boston for a 4-game set in late May. Swung on and missed.
When's the last time we've gone to Boston and haven't had a 4-game set?
It does seem that in Baltimore.
Baltimore, the 2 teams. It seems like every year, and we're going to have to check it out because it's going to go back a ways. We've had 4-game series in those 2 cities for a long time.
Here's the 0-2. Got him to go chase. And that's 3 strikeouts now for Cody Allen, 2 here in the inning. And with 2 down, Jacoby Ellsbury will be coming up with runners at the corners. Our trivia question is always brought to you by AT&T. Bill McKechnie and Ed Roush were 2 of 4 players enshrined in the Hall of Fame in 1962. Who are the other 2? Jacoby Ellsbury knocked in a run and scored in the second. That's low. And Cody Allen falls behind. Ellsbury 2-0. Gomes, who singled with one out. Ross, who followed with a base hit, are the base runners. And the 2-0 to Ellsbury. Ripped the first. Oh, what a backhanded pick by Swisher to retire the side. Couple of hits in the inning and one ball smoked, but no runs for Boston. Middle of the third. Red Sox on top by a half dozen. Just a reminder, as you enjoy a cold one, to look forward to Miller Time later in tonight's game, brought to you by Miller Lite. (7-1) Boston as we go to the bottom of the third, folks. In between innings, Rick and I were trying to guess the answer to the trivia question on our statistician, the esteemed Tom Bushenik, Professor Bo.
Wow.
Was rapping us on their knuckles with his ruler for incorrect answers. Man.
I'll be back. I got to go to the principal's office.
We'll be sitting in the back of the room with dunce caps on.
No kidding. We don't have time. We're just talking about it, Tommy. Relax.
Here's Ryan Rayburn to lead off for the Tribe in the bottom of the third. And Felix Dubront with the first pitch strike. I heard a stat today that was somewhat interesting. The Red Sox, with Lester and Buchholz pitching, they've each made 3 starts, are 6-0. Last year, they didn't get their 6th win between those two pitchers until game 32.
Well, that goes to show you the importance of those two guys towing the rubber and going out there. And
so 20 games earlier this year, they already have 6 wins with those two guys. And that's, as you said, that's got to be a big part of their success formula this year.
Yes, it is.
Now they expect to get David Ortiz back in their lineup
He's
maybe
out
by this weekend.
Yeah, he's out on rehab. Boston, after losing 90-plus games last year, they didn't know what to expect. They get new manager John Farrell. They made the trade. He was with, of course, the Blue Jays to get him back. And, it was a nightmare for him last year with Bobby Valentine over there as the manager. I think a lot of teams picked them to finish last again. But when you look at their overall roster, and they did go out and make some additions, and if those guys can come back and pitch well and do it all year long, there's no telling what they can do. Good pitch.
And Rayburn is out looking. That's 3 strikeouts for Dubron. With more on the status of David Ortiz, here's Katie.
Well, guys, John Farrell said today that David Ortiz, he's dealing with a bit of a spasm in his left heel. It's not related to that Achilles injury he suffered a year ago, but it happened and kind of became a little bit more aggravated when he was riding a bike and running. They're just kind of being more cautious than what they would, and they expect him to be back in the lineup Friday night when they head back home.
Yeah, this is an odd road trip where they just come to Cleveland for 3 and then go right back to Boston.
Isn't that something?
Yeah.
I mean, they're here and they're out of Boston for the tragedy that happened, and they go right back. That is sort of strange. But I understand what they're saying. When they get Ortiz back, they want him there. They don't want him to come in and out with this heel issue.
Yeah.
Because of what happened last year with the Achilles. So you make sure when he comes back, you can plug him into that DH spot.
Drew Stubbs takes a strike, and it's 2-1. Down low. 3 balls and a strike. Red Sox winners of 3 straight. They come in 8-4. After sweeping Tampa, you just can't score. Swing and a miss. And a full count. Payoff pitch. And it's ball 4. That's the first walk issued by Dubron, and the Indians have a 1-out base runner now here in the 3rd.
Well, MLB.com At Bat is the #1 source for live baseball everywhere you go. Available for iPhone, iPad, Android, and BlackBerry 10. At Bat delivers Indians baseball with live audio, pitch tracking, stats, news, highlights, and more. Text At Bat to 31826 or visit Indians.com for the details. Dubron in his last start did not walk a batter. That was the first time in 15 starts that he did not walk a batter. So tonight he just walks Drew Stubbs.
There's Dribble Cabrera taking a strike. Time was called. Now, of course, John Farrell was the pitching coach for Terry Francona in Boston. And then when the opportunity came up to become a manager and go to Toronto, John said that Terry was very supportive and very encouraging, and something that, you know, he'll never forget.
Well, that's what you get into the game for, a lot of these guys. You don't come to get into coach. I mean, some do. But you have aspirations to manage in the big leagues, and when that opportunity comes up, you've got to go and at least try it and pursue it. I mean, a lot of people have to go through the interview process to get there, and once you do, you finally get there, and hey, people in Toronto didn't like it. Johnny, they went to Toronto after we did, and they were waiting for him to lynch him up there in Toronto because they felt, you know, he was going to his dream job in Boston where he was the coach, and they succeeded, and they were ready to hang him, but they played well up there in Toronto.
Well, in Toronto, John did well. He just never really got over that proverbial hump. They were about 500 every year under him. They just couldn't get any traction in that tough, rugged AL East.
They wouldn't spend money. They were in the American League East, and they had pitchers go down. They didn't have their pitching staff to compete.
Yeah,
there.
Last year was a disaster
Sure
in terms of
it was. I mean, all of his pitchers went south. They got hurt.
But John said, hey, you know, when he was working here in the front office for the Indians, director of player development, and did a terrific job in that regard, he said the whole idea of getting into coaching was the chance to work with Terry Francona. Cabrera out looking, and he doesn't like the call by Laz Diaz. That's 4 strikeouts now. And Cabrera lets Diaz know what he thinks. as he heads back to the dugout. But Terry had worked in the Indians front office, so he'd spent a year working with John, so he got to know him then. And then when the opportunity came up to get into coaching and become a pitching coach for Francona, he jumped at that
and
opportunity.
Succeeded at that. You know,
and I really personally thought John was on the fast track to becoming a general manager for some team, if not here in Cleveland somewhere. But
when you
he
look
chose
at
his own path, and it's worked out well.
And the people that have managed here, Bud Black started the same way.
Yeah.
As an assistant here. He's managing the San Diego Padres. Of course, Terry Francona. Charlie Manuel here now is in Philadelphia. And Ron Washington, he didn't play here long. It was at the tail end of his career, but he was here. And now
those guys were all on the same team together, mind you. The guys you just rattled out, the 88 Indians. Charlie was a coach on that club, but think about Bud Black, John Farrell, Terry Francona, Ron Washington, all on the same. Brooke Jacoby was part of that team. He's now a big league hitting coach. And I think there's a couple other guys in those type of roles too. Pretty amazing from that one club. What was the line that John Farrell used as Santana fouls it back? He dropped this when we were in Nashville for the winter meetings. He said, "Who knew back then that on the fertile soil of the shores of Lake Erie, the seeds were planted for all these future managers?"
Oh, is that?
Two down with a runner at first, and Carlos Santana lifts one foul over near the dugout. Napoli can't get to it. Two balls, two strikes, two down with a runner at first here in the bottom of the third. Carlos Santana trying to give the Indians some life offensively. They got on the board in the second. And a little bit low, full count.
This is already 5 full counts for Dubron.
Stubbs off with the payoff pitch and a swing and a miss to end the inning. So Felix Dubron with 3 Ks in the third, 7-1 Red Sox. 7-1 Boston as we go to the fourth inning. Shane Victorino, Dustin Pedroia, Mike Napoli due up. Victorino walked and scored back in the second. He bounced off the short in the first. Bounced towards second base. Mike Aviles will throw him out, 1 down.
Well, there's still great seats, great values for the rest of this series against the Red Sox. We will close it out in a couple of days. Don't forget, 12-ounce beers are now only $4. Hot dogs only $3 for every home game. Buy early and save on your tickets at Indians.com.
Dustin Pedroia looks ball. Called strike. He walked with the bases loaded in the second to force in a run. Nothing into the count. Not surprisingly, Pedroia and Terry Francona had a very good relationship when Pedroia played for Francona. Pedroia said they were always cutting on each other, you know. And Francona has a way about him where he can go into the clubhouse and be one of the guys, and yet still be able to bring the hammer down on somebody when need be.
Yeah.
Line drive over the head of Swisher into right field. Pedroia takes a quick turn, but he's not going to think about second base. He'll hold with a 1-out single. Here's the AT&T U-verse rewind. Mike Napoli with a pair of doubles. His double started the downfall of Ubaldo Jimenez in the second inning.
And then finished it.
And then he finished the inning with a 3-run shot off Cody Allen.
Funny, he took the changeup to right center field to lead that inning off, and then hit a fastball in off the wall to drive in 3.
Sends this one sky high to right. And Drew Stubbs is there. 2 down. Like I said, Stubbs, that's Ryan Rayburn. Everybody's wearing 42 on this Jackie Robinson tribute game.
That hit the tip of the glove from Santana, goes right into the mask of Laz Diaz.
1 ball, 1 strike. Apparently we caught a break here this evening. It looked like we were going to have a rain delay to start, but the rain skirted just south of Cleveland. And evidence of that is in Pittsburgh, where they're now on a rain delay against St. Louis.
And they were in a rain delay in Cincinnati for a while. They're just getting ready to start that game.
Two down, a runner at first. Will Middlebrooks awaiting the 1-2 from Cody Allen. Got him looking. Nice job by Cody Allen. So he has worked 2 1/3 scoreless, but the Tribe still down 6. Now the Red Sox out to a 7-1 lead. Bottom of the 4th inning. Heart of the Tribe order. Nick Swisher, Mark Reynolds, Michael Brantley coming up here. Felix Doubront allowing 1 run in that 2nd inning. Coming on a sac fly by Mike Aviles. Well, the way Cody Allen has pitched out of the bullpen, you get the feeling that if the Indians could make a move here and put a dent into this deficit, they could still make a game out of this yet.
Well, they could, but now you have to shut them down the rest of the way, not just Cody Allen, whoever else comes in.
Very true.
But, I mean, when you give up a 7-run inning early in a game, it's like it's over, especially when you're looking at one of the better pitching staffs in the league. Look, they can come back, but it's going to take everything going perfectly.
Swisher flies to right for out number 1, and that brings up Mark Reynolds. Reynolds struck out his first time up. Up and away. 2-0 the count. And now 2-1. Three and 1 to count. You can see Doubront doesn't want to just groove one in there to Mark Reynolds. Ball 4.
Yeah, patience. Get your base runners.
Second walk issued by Doubront. Right now on FoxSportsOhio.com. Sam Amico says it's time for the Cavaliers to give something back to the fans. Get a report on what happened as the Browns opened minicamp today and see how the Buckeyes look as they head into 2013. Complete coverage of all today's action involving Ohio sports on FoxSportsOhio.com. One on, one out. Michael Brantley to the plate. He had a base hit to right field his first time up. And that took off, and out to the mound goes David Ross to talk with Dubron. Brantley off to a good start. 10 hits and 36 at bats. And that evens the count in 1-1. And now Brantley in a good spot ahead in the count. 2 balls and a strike with Mike Aviles waiting on deck. Up and in. 3-1. As the saying goes, you're down, you need base runners.
Yeah, you take them. If he wants to give you a couple, that's okay. This is the part of the lineup that did it back in the second inning. We were able to come around and score. If not for a couple of decent plays by Victorino out in right field, might have had more than one.
Lazy pop to left, coming hard and sliding. And did he make the catch? He did.
Sure did.
Nava able to get under it and make the catch for out number 2. Boy, that's a terrific play. That changed the complexion of the inning in a hurry.
Well, had a pretty good jump, and the ball wasn't hit that hard. And you see it slicing away, but he got a very good jump on it. You keep coming. You can go ahead and try and slide on that one because it's not going to get all the way to the wall. It's going to hit and check up. But he gets a glove underneath it, out number 2.
So that brings up Mike Aviles, who lined one deep to right. But Shane Victorino made a terrific running catch on that ball in the second inning. Aviles did drive in a run, got the sac fly. The 0-1. Missed with the breaking ball. And Aviles went after the off-speed pitch that time. Comes up empty, down on the count 1-2. Reynolds, the runner at first, with 2 down. And Dubrant's pitch is strike 3 call. That's a half dozen Ks for the Boston left-hander. And the Red Sox still lead at 7-1. the wireless receiver only from AT&T Uverse. Visit att.com/free your TV. Rethink possible. By your local Toyota dealers. For over 30 Toyota offers, visit buyatoyota.com. Toyota, let's go places. And by Panini's, with 19 locations in Northeast Ohio. Fifth inning. Red Sox lead at 7-1. Daniel Nava to lead off. He has struck out twice in the ballgame. Nava was the only strikeout victim of Ubaldo Jimenez. And then Cody Allen struck him out in the third inning. Nick Hagedorn up in the Tribe bullpen now as Cody Allen has worked 2 1/3 scoreless. Swung on and missed.
A nice tight breaking ball there, getting him to chase after it. There's Hagedorn.
And another strikeout. That's 5 Ks for Cody Allen. Boy, he's really pitched well. Coming on in a tough situation here to try and eat up some innings. Here's our great clip of the game from Sunday. Speaking of eating up innings, that's exactly what Brett Myers did. Went out and pitched well against the Chicago White Sox. Gave up just 2 runs in his 6 innings of work. Relax. You're at Great Clips.
Yeah, came back and pitched very well in that ball game. Unfortunately, he ended up taking the loss, but I mean, for his own psyche, he has to be pleased with the way he threw the ball.
Johnny Gomes looks at a ball down low. He has walked, singled, and scored a run. Down low. Not surprisingly, the key for Cody Allen, 44 pitches, 30 have been strikes. He's given up some hits. That's going to happen. But he's attacked the strike zone.
Well, the big hit he gave up, was the first guy he came into face and gave up the double to Napoli. That drove in all the runs. Not an easy spot. A lot of times when those guys out of that bullpen come in, it's a fresh inning.
Yeah.
And a clean inning.
He has not walked a batter, as you saw in his stat line there. He is now 3-1 to Napoli. Or, excuse me, to Johnny Gomes. And now he has walked his first. But we talked about Brett Myers, who pitched well. What about Scott Kazmir, who is on the mend? He pitched last night on a rehab stint down in Columbus. Katie, what's the latest on Kazmir?
Well, Matt, Indians pitching coach Mickey Callaway was in Columbus watching Kazmir. He told me he looked very good through 5 innings, 62 pitches. He was up around 91 to 94. He said it was actually the best that he's seen Kazmir pitch, including what we saw from him in the spring. He threw all of his pitches. They were all very sharp, and it led me to believe that he thinks we will see Kazmir start on the 20th when we're in Houston.
Well, the key there is he threw all of his pitches, and he was pain-free. Because, you get that rib cage injury, you don't know, well, if you get out there and then maybe you let it go and all of a sudden, oh, it's still there. But he felt good. I mean, we saw, how he threw the ball in spring training, how excited people were about, hey, this guy looks like he's back. And so it looks like he's going to get that opportunity this Saturday. Carlos Carrasco also pitched in that game last night. Also pitched very well. But Carrasco now has an 8-game suspension hanging over him, and that's going to make it difficult if and when the Indians decide to bring him up.
No doubt about it.
0-2. David Ross drove in a run with a bases loaded walk in the second, and then smashed a single by Lonnie Chisenhall in the third. A ball and 2 strikes. Now the 1-2.
Got him.
Santana hangs on, and that's a half dozen strikeouts now for Cody Allen.
I'll tell you what, a very good breaking ball tonight. He's had a lot of those Red Sox hitters going after that pitch. He's done a beautiful job, spots the fastball down the way. Got a break on that call, but watch the sharp break to the breaking ball. You get the swings and the misses. So a very good job coming out and giving some innings to Terry Francona as he's going to exit this ball game. But good job.
3 1/3 innings of shutout baseball. 4 hits, 1 walk, struck out 6. Nice job by Cody Allen. And today's Cleveland Clinic call to the bullpen is going to bring on Nick Hagedorn when we come back. (7-1) Boston. Red Sox batting here in the 5th inning with 2 down. Nick Hagedorn coming on now for the Indians, making his 2nd appearance, facing his old organization, the Boston Red Sox. Pedro Siriaco will be the hitter with 1 on and 2 out. Cody Allen, 3 innings, 4 hits, 1 walk, 6 strikeouts.
Yeah. Good breaking ball tonight. He had 9 swings and misses from Red Sox hitters.
Smashed foul outside of third. High pop, foul ground, maybe playable. Swisher just couldn't get to it. He was trying to climb up that railing.
Yeah.
But unable to get to it. 0-2 the count.
Well, the key of it is to get over there, but I'm not so sure. Look at his leg got caught in there. Looked like he might have injured it trying to move down the line. Caught a cleat. That didn't feel good. Easy swish. It's only an out.
The 0-2 bounced in there. Santana lost it momentarily. Siriaco drove in a run back in the second inning with a sac fly. That made it 2-0 at the time. And that was the second out of the inning. And as bad as it was for Jimenez, still had a chance to get out of it with 2 outs then and at least keep it a ball game. But the base hit by Ellsbury, then back-to-back walks forcing in another run, and the 3-run double by Napoli after that. And it was 7-0 Boston. Here's the 2-2. In the air, right field. Ryan Rayburn over near the line makes the catch, and the side is retired. We'll head to the bottom of the 5th. 7-1 Boston. All right, we go down to the bottom of the 5th inning. For the Indians, Lonnie Chisenhall, Ryan Rayburn, and Drew Stubbs coming up. Chisenhall takes a look. It's inside, ball 1. Slowly chopped foul. So much of the focus, and understandably so, on this series is about Terry Francona facing the Red Sox, John Farrell, his former pitching coach, that whole matchup. But there are others that were also part of that run in Boston. Brad Mills, for example, the Indians' third base coach, was a longtime coach in Boston under Terry Francona. And for Brad, being back at third base is kind of interesting because he hadn't really coached third base since he was in the minor leagues.
He was the bench coach over there, with Terry. Right.
High fly ball deep to left. Back is Nava, and he'll have room to grab it. 1 away. Let's go back to the Hyundai Studios for an in-game update with Al Pawlowski.
Hey, Matt, let's head to Baltimore where the O's are hosting the Rays. And here in the second inning, Matt Wieters takes our old friend Roberto Hernandez deep to right field for his second homer of the year. Orioles now lead the Rays 3-1. They're in the 6th inning at Camden Yards. Matt?
Thanks, Al. Here's Ryan Rayburn. taking up high for ball one. I think one of the interesting things to me, Rick, is that for Brad, when you've been with a guy like Terry as long as they've been together and you know each other that well, worked together so long, he said, I can be at third, and we have signs. Everybody has signs. Manager relays them to the third base coach. He relays them to the hitter. He said, but sometimes I can just look at him, and he'll give me an unofficial sign. Maybe it's a look. Maybe it's just something he does, and I know exactly what he wants me to do, and I can put the sign on from there. So he said that's kind of an inside benefit.
Well, yeah, that's being around each other that's like a husband and wife, man. That's what that's like. You know, just by a look.
Yeah, you know that look. You've seen it before many times.
Many times, and you just go with it. But then again, on the side of the Red Sox, you've got
Torey Lovullo,
who's
here a number of years.
He paid his dues here in the minor leagues and managed for a long time. Rick Jameson, the trainer's over there now. Yeah. Who spent a lot of time over in this clubhouse and started in the minor leagues with Eric Wedge. So
smash deep left field, stay fair, and it is. Pelts off the wall. Rayburn's going to have to hurry. Puts the brakes on and wisely goes back to first base. It was really played well by Daniel Nava in left field because it hit the wall so hard it ricocheted back to him in a hurry.
He smoked the ball, but he does exactly what you're supposed to do as a base runner. He thought second base because he was almost halfway there. So what he did, he made Nava come back and throw a strike, which he did, by the way. A one-hopper right there. And you can't stretch it in this situation. You're down 6 runs. You got to be absolutely sure. So a well-stroked single right there for Ryan Rayburn.
Plus, isn't one of your old teammates on his staff? Isn't Juan Nieves one of your old teammates?
They got from, he was out with the White Sox. In their bullpen, and Juan Nieves got the pitching coach's job over there in Boston, right? Old left-hander.
Greg Colburn is the Boston hitting coach now, so it's a whole new staff with John Farrell as the manager in Boston. That's fouled out of play to the right. The 1-1. Missed inside. The thing that I was impressed with Brad Mills, just getting to know him this spring a little bit and just watching him. And, we've been around enough. You can tell when somebody has a real passion for the game of baseball. And that guy right there, folks, has it. I mean, he comes to work with bouncing his step every day, talking to the players. I mean, we were watching him throwing batting practice, and he's throwing batting practice talking to him about situations. Every pitch, like, all right, here's a situation. You got a runner at second, 2 outs. And what are you going to do with the pitch? And here's a guy who just thoroughly loves what he does.
I was impressed when they ran a PFP session one time, pitcher's fundamental practice. It was pitcher's first base, 4-1s, 3-1s, and squeeze plays. And they actually enjoyed it, and they were moving. And it was fun to watch.
Sometimes that can be drudgery, but he's got that kind of infectious enthusiasm. All right, the Indians trying to make some noise here. 2 on, 1 out. As Drupal Cabrera to the plate as John Farrell and his bench coach Torey Lovullo talk things over on the Boston side. Some stirring in the Red Sox bullpen, but I don't believe they have anybody up. Dubront has made 88 pitches, and 50 of those have been strikes. First sign of maybe any real trouble for Dubront in this game. Saved the second inning situation when the Indians had 2 on and Avila smoked that ball to deep right field that was caught. The Indians got a run out of it, but that was it. They have not scored since, but Cabrera trying to put a dent into this 6-run deficit as David Ross is going to go out now and chat up Dubront. Off-speed pitch. You can see Cabrera that still a little bit out in front. He smoked the ball his first time up the deep center field. Then was called out on strikes his last time up.
Well, that's an at-bat to me where he was thinking he was going to get a fastball right there. And DeBron has a good changeup, and he just wasn't committed. You know, he saw that pitch and chased the change. But that's not a bad pitch on Dubron's part. They know certain hitters get a little geared up in situations, and you know, you don't want to walk in this situation. You're looking for something you can drive and make something happen and keep it going, so you get a little over aggressive at times.
There's a hard hit ground ball into left field. Coming around third, Rayburn will be stopped, and the bases are loaded with one out. Again, Nava got to the ball quickly, and if you're Brad Mills, you don't want to get a guy thrown out at the plate.
Can't take chances here. You just move it up one base. Cabrera got himself a fastball here and found the hole between short and third. That's the pitch he was looking at. I see the fastball he missed location with. This one came middle in, and he turned on it, and you can see how quickly Nava gets to it. So you can't take a chance there. So they move up, and bases loaded. Now if you can keep this rally going with Santana, this could be a lot of fun.
Well, Carlos Santana 0 for 2 tonight, but coming in, he had been the Indians' hottest hitter before the unfortunate injury that he suffered when he was catching Chris Perez against the Yankees. They got crossed up on the signs. He was expecting a slider. He got a fastball off the fat part of his thumb on his catching hand. Caused him to miss a few games, but back in there now, and Santana has a chance to really change the complexion of this game. And as you always say, the key here is not to try to be the hero right now, but just keep the train moving.
Absolutely. Just pass it on to the next guy. Find a way to get on base, and this is how rallies, they start. You get a walk in there, you mix in a couple base hits, and you don't try and hit one out of the ballpark. Just take a single, double, any way to get on base.
Santana didn't think he went around, but Laz Diaz said he did.
And then again, what did he do? Same thing he did with Cabrera. Started him off changeup, knowing that they're going to be a little more aggressive, looking for that first pitch fastball.
Good numbers for Santana in bases loaded situations in his career. That's down low. 1-1.
This is where, as a hitter, you really have to be patient, because that pitcher, sometimes they prey on your aggressiveness.
Still nobody throwing in that Boston pen.
There might be some rumblings if one more guy can reach right
you
here.
have to think so. He's at 93 pitches on the night. And he had been throwing a lot of strikes. But that's starting to, he's 53-40 now. Strikes to balls. 1-1. Slowly chopped foul, and Santana again maybe a little over aggressive.
3 straight changeups. He is not. We know that Santana is a good fastball hitter. I mean, he's proven that, and the rest of the league knows that. But they are going to get him, and especially when you get ahead in the count, you don't throw him a strike unless you have to. But Carlos has proven he can work his way back into counts with the best of them as well, and he's going to have to do that right here.
Bases loaded, 1 out in the 5th. And he strikes him out. Got the fastball, but good location by Dubron. And that's his 7th strikeout, 2 down.
Comes back, and then the only fastball Santana sees is a perfectly placed fastball on the outside edge. So he carved him up in that at-bat. 7 strikeouts now.
And Nick Swisher will be the batter. Clayton Mortensen just now getting loose. Swisher singled and scored in the 2nd, flied to right. I believe it was on the first pitch back in the 4th. But different scenario now for Swish. As he tries to keep this rally alive for the Indians. And he takes that first pitch. That was a fastball, though, and it was down low for ball one. Out of play to the right, and the count 1-1. Seven grand slams for Swisher. Rayburn's at third. Stubbs with great speed at second, and Cabrera down at first. The 1-1. And a strike called. And now Swisher down on the count 1-2. Indians' only run came in the second on a sac fly by Mike Aviles. This is their best scoring threat since. Their only scoring threat since. But after Santana struck out, it's up to Swisher with 2 down and the bases loaded. And he's down on the count 1-2. DuBrant deals. Off the glove. Rayburn will score. Everybody else moves up a base. And it's a 7-2 ball game. And we'll see how they rule it if it's a wild pitch or a pass ball. Ross got leather on it. How high was it?
Well, you know what? I think most times you're going to catcher, it's not like he's throwing 98. That probably should have been caught. Not that it's an easy play, but it goes off the top of Ross's glove.
Now let's see if Swisher can knock in a couple with a base hit. 2-2. Slowly chopped foul, third base side.
You know, a base hit here really makes a huge difference in this game. You can get a 2-out base hit. You can cut that lead in half. You make it 7-4 now.
Huge.
Yeah, I mean, that gives that bench life and a little hope for the rest of this team to come right back.
It was officially ruled a pass ball for Rayburn to score. Swisher takes low, and a full count now with Mark Reynolds waiting on deck. Although this might be DuBrant's final hitter of the game if he doesn't get Swisher. Well, it might be his final hitter regardless. He's over 100 pitches now. Got the right-hander ready in the bullpen. We'll see what happens here.
Well, they want to talk about it. This is his 6th full count tonight. The Indians threw the first 5, 0 for 4 with 1 walk.
Swisher certainly has seen his fill of the Red Sox after spending 4 years with New York. Trying to do some damage here with the drive down 5 in the 5th. The payoff pitch. Ball 4, and the bases are loaded. And so now decision time for John Farrell. As Mark Reynolds comes to the plate, he talks it over with Torey Lovullo, and it looks like he's going to stay with DuBrant.
Well, you know what? The guy, they've given him the lead. He's walked 2 in the inning. Couple of base hits. That's good patience on Swisher's part to move it along. The pass ball allowed the Indians to score, but now a big base hitter, a blast here. We got a new ball game, and he wants to. It's the 5th inning, for goodness sakes. You can't qualify for the win until you get the one more out. 7-2 lead. You got yourself into trouble. You better get yourself out of trouble.
DuBront's over 100 pitches. Reynolds walked his last time up. He has also struck out tonight. And takes ball 1. Back on Saturday, just the second grand slam in Mark Reynolds' career, and it was a no doubt about it blast into the bleachers and left.
That was a big one off Chris Sale, which was a rolling breaking ball. He started him out breaking ball first pitch, a little too high.
He popped him up. Reynolds slams the bat down in frustration as Pedroia backpedals and makes the catch. And the inning is over. So the Indians leave them loaded. They get another run, but they're down 7-2 after 5. This year, Fox Sports Supports is proud to partner with Stomp Out Bullying, the leading national anti-bullying organization for kids and teens in the United States. Stomp Out Bullying focuses on preventing bullying in all forms and educates against racism, hatred, and violence in schools. To learn how you can help, visit stompoutbullying.org. So we go now to the 6th inning with the Tribe down 7-2. Nick Hagedorn got the last out of the 5th inning. Will stay on to work the 6th. He came on in relief of Cody Allen, who worked a career-high 3 innings, a career-high 3 strikeouts. What did I say?
3. He had 6 strikeouts.
Did I say 3?
Yeah. 3 innings.
3 innings, 6 strikeouts.
Correct.
Yeah.
Sorry, pal.
Nick Hagedorn facing Jacoby Ellsbury, 1 out of 3 on the evening. Takes a strike. White Sox Blue Jays tied 2-2. They're in the 8th in Toronto. Baltimore leads Tampa 3-1 in the 6th at Oriole Park. Yankees with some interleague action. They're playing the Arizona Diamondbacks.
Yeah.
They lead 3-2.
A few interleague series going on. Kansas City at Atlanta. Well, you can see how tough it is sometimes to climb out of a big run inning early in a game. Everything has to be perfect. Everything's got to go your way, and zeros have to be applied to that board for the rest of the game. So far, so good on the pitching side of it.
Yeah, the shame of it is the offense hasn't been able to just chip away a
a
little
base
bit.
hit right there could have made a huge difference.
Yeah.
But that's what I'm saying. Everything has to go your way when you have to have a relatively big inning yourself.
Hard smash to first. Nick Swisher takes it himself. 1 away. Our in-game recap brought to you by your local Toyota dealers. And in that second inning, a bases-loaded walk to David Ross. Jacoby Ellsbury smashed one up the middle. And then Mike Napoli capped the inning with a 3-run double. But the story was Ubaldo Jimenez walking 5 Red Sox hitters in that inning. So that set it up for Boston. Shane Victorino 0 for 2 walked and scored in the second inning. Back on this date in 1977, Bob Stanley came out of the Boston bullpen and made the first of his 637 pitching appearances for the Red Sox, the only team he ever played for.
You talk about a vicious sinker. You know, you talk about Justin Masterson and that ball that sinks. Stanley had one of those.
Well, you got to look at it. His first ever appearance in the big leagues. He came in.
Who did?
You did.
Oh, yeah?
He came in and saved the win for Louis Tion.
El Tiante, yeah, he used to throw shot puts up there, Stanley. No kidding.
In the ball game, you went 1 for 5, but of more importance, I noticed that you threw out Rick Burleson trying to stretch a single into a double.
Just another day. Well, the next of 15 Sugardale Dollar Dog Nights will take place Friday, May 3rd. It will start at 7 o'clock. Buy early, save on tickets. The Indians will take on the Minnesota Twins.
Buddy Bell didn't think much of Bob Stanley. He doubled off of him in that game. He dug that sinker out, huh?
Yeah, well, he had the approach to do it. He'd like to go to right center, so that wouldn't surprise me. Look at you going retro back into the day.
Well, I thought it was interesting that the note about Stanley was in their Boston notes, but it didn't say who they played.
And obviously, you checked.
They played the Indians. 8-4 Red Sox win on this date in 1977. You remember who managed the Red Sox that year?
77. No, give it to me.
Don Zimmer.
Okay. That might be the year we got in a fight with those guys. No, he was coaching third base that one year when we got in a fight with Boston and Zimmer was coaching third.
Just looking at that Red Sox lineup. Now, granted, they were just 2 years removed from the World
75
Series.
They were in the World Series.
Rick Burleson, Denny Doyle, Jim Rice, Yaz, George Scott,
Freddie
Carlton
Lynn.
Fisk, Evans, Hobson, Rick Miller. Oh, where was Freddie Lynn, I wonder? Was he hurt then?
Might have been, because Rick Miller was another fine defensive center fielder.
Or maybe he just had the day off. Who knows?
Yeah.
Hagedon with the 0-2 to Pedroia. And it's right back. Two-strike pitch. Hagedon with a 1-2. Toss to first instead. Shane Victorino, a couple of walks today. Good cut by Pedroia, and as we mentioned earlier, when he turns it loose, he turns it loose. Well, what's also interesting, too, when you watch Pedroia swing, it looks like he's just swinging from the heels, but, you know, when he gets down to that, as you talked before about the hitting area, he looks like every other hitter in baseball. It's just getting there, he looks like he's swinging a sledgehammer.
Little guy, he generates a big swing. And
he's out looking. Nice pitch by Hagedorn. You could tell he locked him up. He was not expecting the off-speed pitch there.
Well, they go right there, and they want that breaking ball inside, and he gets it. He locked in, and he realized it. You're right, not looking for that. Knee buckling right there.
So with 2 down, Mike Napoli, 2 for 3 on the night. How about Minnesota? Out to an early lead on the Angels at Target Field, 3-0. They're in the 3rd inning. Angels tied with the Astros at just 4-9 on the year. Hagedorn's 2-0 pitch. No, and throw to first instead. Some nights it just seems like it's contagious. You know, guys' inability to throw a lot of strikes and just be aggressive.
Well, it slows down. You see some pitchers when they get out of the stretch, I mean, they slow completely down. Different animals. Get the ball, get a rhythm, let's go. Get a tempo. People, your defenders love that when you bring the game to a halt.
Well, that was what was impressive about Cody Allen, because he gave up some hits, but he stayed aggressive.
He got the ball and he threw it. He pitched.
The 2-1. Swing and a miss, and it gets by Santana, so down to second goes Victorino. As soon as that ball hit the dirt, the runner just took off.
Yeah, that ball's out in front. Santana, it ricochets off of him, so he'll get himself into scoring position on the wild pitch.
Mike Aviles talking with Shane Victorino. Napoli with a 2-ball, 2-strike count. 2 down here in the 6th. And Hagedorn deals. Oh, you locked him up. That's back-to-back hitters that he crossed up with a curveball. So nice job by Hagedorn, fanning a pair here in the 6th.
Well, there's still great seats remaining for the last 2 games of this Red Sox series. And you don't want to forget 12-ounce beers are now only $4. Hot dogs only $3 for every home game. So get your tickets at Indians.com.
Well, we've got a pitching change now, as John Farrell goes to right-hander Clayton Mortensen. 4th appearance of the year for the right-hander. Felix Dubron was handed a big early lead, but he's only able to get through 5 innings. Partly because he walked 4 and struck out 7, so he just piled up a lot of pitches.
Well, he wasn't starting. He missed a turn in the rotation because his second start was rained out at Toronto, so missed a turn in the rotation. So it's been a while. So he gives him 5 innings today. But hey, when you're a starter, you get 7 runs in the second inning. You say thank you very much. You work your way through it. Turn it over to a good Red Sox bullpen.
And even though the Indians are down 7-2, there have been 3 very important plays in this game that have enabled Boston to just kind of cruise with that big lead. The first one came in the second inning when Mike Avila scorched one to right, and Shane Victorino made a terrific running catch on. The Indians got a run. It was a sac fly, but it looked like it was maybe going to be a double over his head, and who knows how that might play out after that. The other one was when Brantley was up in the 4th inning with 1 on and 1 out, and he blooped one to left field. If that gets down, maybe you've got a little rally brewing there, but Nava made a nice sliding catch. Brantley pulls this one through the hole on the right side, and the Indians get their leadoff man aboard here in the 6th. And then, of course, the other one, I think you got Santana up there, bases loaded, 1 out, and you're thinking, okay, let's get the train rolling, and that's a big strikeout. Dubron got Santana, and then was able to work his way out of the inning. But the Indians still have life, down 5 here in the bottom of the 6th inning. Mike Avila's coming up here.
Yeah, you keep pecking away, pecking away. I wouldn't be too concerned about base runners taking off right now, I'll say that. Better concentrate on the hitter. You don't run when you're 5 runs down in the 6th inning unless you are absolutely sure you're going to make it.
Up and in, 2-0. Or excuse me, that's ball 1. Almost got him again. This was the big play in the 2nd inning. Avilas crushed it, and Victorino had a nice running grab on. Here's the one Brantley blooped to left, and Nava made a nice sliding grab. And Santana, it was a good piece of pitching by Dubron. He got him out front early with the changeup, got him a little over anxious, and then he just painted a fastball with 2 strikes in the outside corner, and Santana couldn't foul it off. That's popped to right. Pretty routine this time for Victorino. 1 away. All right, here's the answer to our AT&T trivia question tonight. Bill McKechnie, Ed Roush went into the Hall of Fame in 1962. The other 2, well, one of them was our own Rapid Robert, Bob Feller. And the rounding out the quartet, Jackie Robinson.
Nice. Very nice.
Well done, Redbird. Lonnie Chisenhall 0 for 2. Hits one pretty well to left. Back is Nava. Says he's got room and makes the catch. A stride or two in front of the warning track. And there are 2 down. So on Jackie Robinson Day, all the players in Major League Baseball wear his number 42. A number that was retired throughout all of Major League Baseball. And it holds a certain amount of significance to players today, even guys who have only read about Jackie Robinson in books and seen the video clips on the scoreboards. Mike Aviles, for one, talks about the importance of wearing number 42.
It definitely means a little bit more now, just watching the movie and seeing how it is. You know, it's because of him that, you know, guys like myself were able to play now. You know, he broke the color barrier and he dealt with a lot. I can honestly say there's no way I would have been able to do it. So, you know, my hat, you know, goes off to him and everybody, you know, that was able to withstand that kind of abuse.
The movie 42 is out in theaters now.
I also think Larry Doby's number should be retired throughout baseball.
Yeah,
he was the pioneer in the American League and the very first black player to come into this league and play, and he was Cleveland's own.
Yeah, and we know him from different ways. You knew him as a coach and on the field. I knew him much later in his life, and you wouldn't have met a finer person than Larry Doby. Classy all the way, and you're right, Rick. He had to endure much the same intolerance that Jackie Robinson
dealt with. It was only like, I think, 4 or 5 weeks after Robinson came into the National League with the Brooklyn Dodgers, and Larry Doby was from Jersey. He was right from that neck of the woods.
And back then, the leagues were so different, and you know there was no interleague play other than the World Series, and so for him to go to the American League, he was completely on his own.
Yeah.
Yes, we're not taking anything away from Jackie Robinson, what he accomplished, but what Larry Doby went through was very similar, if not equally as difficult. And where, you know, what's interesting too is you look at the dynamic for Larry Doby coming to the Cleveland Indians back then, and he had Bill Veeck, you know, as his owner. Jackie Robinson had Branch Rickey, and Larry Doby had Bill Veeck. Chopper to third. That's going to stay foul barely.
That was close, wasn't it? Oh, there's a good look at it. It's borderline, starting to come back a little bit.
Brantley takes off. 3-2 pitch is low, ball 4. So another chance for the Indians, albeit with 2 outs. They've got 2 on, and Drew Stubbs will be the batter.
Now there's a guy coming out that's having a hard time throwing strikes as well. Out of that bullpen, out of his 14 pitches, only 5 have been strikes.
Well, and here's Drew Stubbs, who's walked twice in the ball game. Like I said, some nights, for whatever reason, it seems like it's an epidemic or contagious.
Yeah, you have those days. The plate's moving around.
Stubbs, good patience tonight. And that's low, ball 1. I believe there is activity in the Boston bullpen, but it's hard to tell if they're just shaking it out, getting it loose, or if they actually have anybody throwing. John Farrell is probably getting a little anxious. Mortensen fires a strike. Nobody throwing yet, I'm told. Just guys up, getting loose.
Well, Guys out there that are watching the game, they don't have to be told. They know when they get a couple base runners. They know to get up and start getting loose because that phone's about to ring.
He went around, says Laz Diaz, and now down on the count, 1-2. And he's out looking. So the Indians strand 2 more through 6, 7-2 Boston. Here's a look in at Progressive Field tonight from our Panini Cam, brought to you by Panini's Bar and Grill. Turned out to be actually a pretty decent night, all things considered. It looked like we might be starting in a rain delay format. Earlier this evening, they had the tarp pulled out on the field around 6:30, and it looked like, oh boy, here we go again. But around 6:40, they yanked the tarp and got the field ready, and the rain all stayed south of here.
It surprised everybody.
But unfortunately, the Red Sox took advantage of Ubaldo Jimenez's generosity. He walked 5 batters in the second inning, and Boston pounced for 7 runs. And that's the game in a nutshell, unfortunately. 7-2, they lead it here in the 7th inning. Will Middlebrooks, 0 for 2, struck out twice. Nick Hagan on a second inning of relief work. Lonnie Chisenhall guns it over, and Middlebrooks is out number 1.
Well, season tickets assure you the best seats at the lowest prices, and only season ticket holders get Tribe Rewards, giving you access to unique opportunities. Full and season, partial season ticket plans on sale now. Just visit Indians.com.
Daniel Nava has had a tough night. He is 0 for 3, and he has struck out all 3 times. Out of play. Good matchup tomorrow night as Justin Masterson will take the hill for the Tribe. Looking to stay perfect on the year. He's 3-0 with an ERA of 0.41.
Well, he's been as good as any pitcher in the game.
Hammered the left, hooking foul. Alfredo Aceves will go for Boston. Swing and a miss. It was in the dirt. They tag him.
Now that's a tough night.
0 for 4 with 4 Ks. The golden sombrero. Tune in after Indians Live following the game for Chuck's Last Call. Chuck Galletti will take your calls on tonight's game and get you the latest information on what's happening in Cleveland sports. It's Chuck's Last Call tonight after Indians Live on Sports Time Ohio. One and one to count on Johnny Gomes. Couple of walks, a base hit, a run scored. That's low. 3 balls and a strike. Taking a strike, full count. This is the Red Sox kind of MO so far this year, Rick. They've won all 4 of their series openers. Trying to make it 5 in a row for the first time since 06 when they also did that.
Well, remember the Indians did that a year ago. It seemed like they won every first game and then they couldn't win the series.
It's true. That's a good point.
You know, I remember
right.
we were keeping track of that for so long, and all of a sudden holy smokes, they're off to another good start. They win the opening game. But the key is you have to win 1 out of the next 2 once you win that opener.
Which, that's the way you're going to do it. I mean, you lose the opener, then you got to win 2 straight to win the series. That's doing it the hard way.
True, it can be done. But you always like to get off, started off on a series on a good foot.
Well, he walks Gomes with 2 down after retiring 4 straight, and that's going to be it for Hagedorn. So Terry Francona will make a move to the bullpen. He's going to go to his left-hander, Rich Hill, when we come back. The Columbus Blue Jackets are fighting for the final playoff spot in the Western Conference. They'll battle Anaheim tomorrow night. Coverage begins at 9:30 with Blue Jackets Live. Then join Jeff Rimmer and Bill Davidge, with the call tomorrow at 10 on Fox Sports Ohio. That's going to be a great one to watch. That Blue Jackets bunch has been a thorn in everybody's side. They were in last place a month or so ago, and here they are with an opportunity to get into the playoffs.
I think there's a few beards down there working.
Yeah. Right across from the Big A. You know, it's that hockey arena we always wonder about. It sits right across the freeway. That's where the Blue Jackets will be. Rich Hill coming on for the Tribe, getting some work in. Facing David Ross, who is 1 for 2, walked and scored and drove in a run in the second with a bases loaded free pass, and then singled in the third. Struck out his last time up, takes a strike. Hill, another former Red Sox pitcher. Took a little something off after he set him up with a good fastball, and it's 0-2. All the way to the backstop, and down to second goes Gomes.
Just a little bit outside here. Here's a good look at the Exmo cam where that ball is wide. It slows it down. I'm not sure by how many frames, but it really gives you a good look at just about everything.
Hill's 1-2 pitch. Breaking ball.
And Mr. Murphy tells us it's 420 frames per second is that Exmo cam.
Swung on and missed. That's one swing per frame, and that's out number 3. Time now for the 7th inning stretch, brought to you by Spitzer Auto World. Life is hard. Buying a car shouldn't be. Bottom of the 7th inning. For the Indians, Cabrera, Santana, and Swisher due up. Clayton Mortensen stays on for a second inning of relief work. Cabrera 1 out of 3 on the night. Base hit his last time up. That's down low. 2 balls. No strikes. Well, Atlanta continues to cruise. They beat Kansas City 6-3 in their series opener down there. That's 10 in a row for the Braves.
It's awful early in the year to break out a 10-game winning streak, isn't it?
Well, Rick, remember the year? Was it 1982? Didn't the Braves win like
13,
something like that?
No, I think it was before the 80s. Well, it might have been 80. It was the 13 straight.
Yeah, that's to start the year, wasn't it?
Yes.
Yeah. Now this is impressive too, though. I mean, that's a ball club that, you know, like the Indians, underwent a major makeover in the offseason. They bring in B.J. Upton, Justin Upton.
Well, Chipper retired.
Chipper Jones retires.
Uh-huh.
Yeah, Murph confirms 1982, 13 in a row for Atlanta.
The 87 Brewers also started out 13-0. And the guy we were talking about today, their pitching coach, Juan Nieves, ended up throwing a no-hitter in game number 9 against the Baltimore Orioles in Baltimore.
And you got to be thinking at that point, this is our year, boys. We've got a no-hitter under our belt, 13-game win streak. What happened?
Nothing. We turned the page in April and went to May and proceeded to lose about 13 straight.
But, I mean, we obviously, as the saying goes, you're probably not as good as you are when you're playing well.
No, remember I told you, I said they were the 20 wins, and they were 20-3 at the start of May.
Into the teeth of the shift. Santana's out number 2. As promised earlier, it's Miller time, brought to you by Miller Lite. Jackie Robinson, 66 years ago, broke Major League Baseball's color barrier. What a career. I mean, and the other thing, too, is to consider that he didn't get his opportunity until he was 28. And you talk about this all the time, you know, the prime years of an athlete's career, professional athlete. You know, you're talking usually 21 to 23.
Well, back in those days, yeah, he could have been up at a very young age.
Nick Swisher fouling one back out of play. You were going to finish your thought, though. That Brewers club.
Well, they ended up winning 90 games that year. You know, still a nice year, and there was, I think, 4 teams in the Eastern Division that won 90. So the opportunity was there at the start, but
yeah.
you know, they had a bad month, and you know, that's sometimes the way baseball is.
Indians go 1, 2, 3 here in the 7th. And it remains 7-2 Boston. presented by authority of the Cleveland Indians and may not be reproduced or retransmitted in any form. And the accounts and descriptions of this game may not be disseminated without the express written consent of the Cleveland Indians. (7-2) Red Sox on top. And the 8th inning. Rich Hill staying on to face Pedro Ciriaco, then Jacoby Ellsbury and Shane Victorino. Looks like Brian Shaw getting loose in the Tribe pen.
Yeah, they've had to weather, some work out of that bullpen for game 1 of the series. But the way you look at it tomorrow, you've got your ace, Masterson, going. And he's been lights out, coming off a complete game. We'll see if he can go out there and stay as sharp as he's been.
Well, and as Louis Rivera told us when we were in Toronto, he said, boy, every time Masterson pitched when John Farrell was there, he pitched dynamite. So maybe with John Farrell being in that Red Sox dugout, that'll inspire Masterson once again. Well, I don't think that really is a factor for Justin, but
no, if he continues to just be free and easy and loose and just let it go the way he's been pitching, he's going to have a great year.
And I think for Justin, too, what we've seen is the slider really developing and being able to change speeds with it. Throwing one where it's almost like a hard cutter, and then another one is almost slurvy. I mean, that's taking left-handers out of the equation.
Well, that's who used to hurt him with the left-handers. He used to dominate righties. And you're right. Now when you can handle left-handers much easier, at least to this point, it gives you one more weapon to get a left-handed hitter out.
Here is the 2-2. White Sox rallied to beat Toronto at the Rogers Center tonight 4-3. So Chicago gets their 6th win. They're 6-8. Twins lead the Angels 5-4. They're in the 5th in Minnesota. Ball 4. Leadoff man aboard. Let's go back to the Hyundai Studios and find out what happened in Toronto. Here's Al Pawlowski.
Hey, Matt, let's go north of the border. It was tied at 2 in the top of the 9th inning. Diane Viciedo with his base hit to left center scores the go-ahead run for Chicago. They added another insurance run. They need it. Toronto scored 1 in the 9th. Not enough. 4-3, White Sox a winner. Back to you.
All right, thanks, Al. Here is Jacoby Ellsbury, 1 for 4 on the night, taking a strike. Tigers in action coming up in a little while. They are out in Seattle.
They're already making a West Coast swing, huh?
Yeah. Oakland A's will be hosting the Astros. Oakland still leads the AL West with a mark of 10-4.
Well, that's the American League team that had their win streak at what they have, a 9-game streak.
I don't think you can call Oakland a surprise.
No,
they're not a surprise team.
Absolutely not.
I mean, they won the West last year.
Call them a surprise team because nobody knows about them. They don't hear about them. They don't talk about them. They always talk about where the money went, and that's the Angels and the Rangers. Oakland just finds a way to beat you.
Nice pitch by Rich Hill as he freezes Ellsbury. 1 down here in the 8th. Tonight's box score brought to you by your Northern Ohio Hyundai dealers. And for Boston tonight, you look at their box score. Nothing really going to jump out and say, wow, they really had a big night. You walked 5 guys in an inning, you're going to get hurt. That's what happened. It was a brutal
inning. They gave him they gift wrap. I should say Ubaldo gift wrapped a 7-run inning for him. And, they've been out of the game ever since. It sucked the life out of everybody here in the ballpark.
By the way, that's the 11th strikeout for Indians pitching tonight.
Yeah.
There's Jimenez, who...
Well, they also have, 9 walks, too. Well, all 5 in the 2nd inning came around to score. So, there you have it.
And again, looking back, always easy to look back, but in that inning, Jimenez had 2 outs and a chance to get out of the inning without allowing any more than just 2 runs. But then he gave up a 2-out RBI single to Ellsbury, then walked Victorino to reload the bases, then walked Pedroia to walk in another run, and then he was out of the ball game, and Mike Napoli came in and crushed a 3-run double.
Bookend doubles.
Yep.
Started the inning, ended the inning pretty much.
Yeah.
With his 2 doubles.
But going back to a point you made, I think in that inning, that the 2-out runs has been a problem for the Indians here early in the year.
Yeah, 24. They had given up 24 2-out runs coming into this ball game, and whatever they have given up today, and those do damage when you have a chance to get out of innings.
3 more today. Shane Victorino awaiting the 1-2 pitch from Rich Hill. And that's ripped foul off the facing of the Tribe dugout. Victorino hearing it from the Indians dugout. Checked his swing foul. That reminds me of that game years ago. This might have been either in the 80s or in the early 90s where somebody, I think it was out in Anaheim, somebody was just wearing out the dugout with foul balls, and eventually the whole team had gone down. They were in one corner of the dugout, all packed in there, so he wouldn't hit him with another foul ball.
Like that.
Just like
Go
that.
in there and hide.
Now shake him up down there again. So that's twice now Victorino's been hunting down that Indians dugout.
Well, everybody stands up on on all these dugouts in the top rows. I mean, standing
Nobody
out there.
sits on them anymore, do
Right. Rarely. I mean, when you do, it's either raining outside or it's bitter cold.
They got in on him and popped him up. Drew Stubbs calling for it, and he makes the catch, 2 down. Late innings are brought to you by Captain Morgan Rum. Raise a glass, always in moderation. Terry Francona is going to go back to his bullpen. Brian Shaw will come on with 2 down here in the 8th. And Boston in front tonight, 7-2. Brian Shaw for the 5th time this year. No wins or losses, ERA 193. And he's coming on to face Dustin Pedroia. Shaw has shown very good fastball, and either, as you say, sneaky or just hard to pick up, but it seems to, I mean, at 94, you don't have to be real sneaky.
No, but it just looks like hitters turn on it and swing at it a little later. I don't know if they pick it up so well or if it's an arm angle or what, but it looks like he hides it well, doesn't it?
You don't see many half swings from Pedroia like that very often. That would lead you to believe he's not picking it up real well. The 0-2. Ooh, just missed. 96. He really ramped up that baby.
Well, look at that angle from behind, and you can see that gets there in a hurry.
The 1-2. Inside just a bit. Diaz hearing it from the Indians dugout.
Well, that was in off the dish, though.
Swung on and missed. He got him to chase the slider, and the inning is over. We'll head to the bottom of the 8th. Drive down 5. (7-2) in favor of Boston as we move into the bottom of the 8th inning, and the Red Sox go back to their bullpen. Right-hander Alex Wilson, after Clayton Mortensen worked 2 scoreless innings.
Wilson was recalled from Pawtucket on Wednesday, made his major league debut on Thursday. That was against Baltimore. Had a strikeout in a scoreless 8th inning.
Mark Reynolds, Michael Brantley, Mike Aviles due up for the Indians. It's up high, ball one. Mark Reynolds has struck out, walked, and popped up on the infield. Painted the outside corner with a good fastball, and it's a 1-2 count. Just a little bit outside, and a full count now for Reynolds. And the payoff pitch is up high for ball four. That's the 6th Indians walk tonight. Let's go back and look at our keys to the game. This one got away from Ubaldo Jimenez with that second inning, and he walked the 5 Red Sox hitters.
I don't think the velocity mattered, did it?
No.
If you don't throw strikes, it doesn't matter how hard you throw.
He had good velocity. That was not the issue at all. And Asdrubal Cabrera, well, he got the one base hit in a situation where they needed him to get a base hit in that 5th inning. Keep that rally going. Helped load. In fact, that loaded. No, it didn't. Yeah, it loaded the bases. And just too big a hole tonight. And they have had some opportunities to chip away and try to trim that lead down, but they have not been able to cash in for just the 2 runs on the night. Brantley with a couple of base hits, though, tonight. Both of them to right field. And he was robbed of a hit in the 4th inning when he tried to bloop one into left. Right back up the middle. It hit off the glove of the pitcher. And a double play is turned. Oh, my. What a job by Napoli at first to hang on to the throw from Siriaco. But Wilson deflecting it perfectly. And Siriaco able to turn 2. Wow.
This is good all the way around because you had the deflection off the mid of Wilson. And Siriaco takes it, steps in a wide throw, but Napoli, a nice job he kept his toe on the base.
Did he?
Yeah. He had it on when it goes into his glove and then falls off. Watch, he has the ball in his glove. There it is.
Ooh, I don't know.
Well, close enough, I guess.
That's what that's the old close enough call. So with 2 down, Mike Aviles to the plate. Swing and a miss, and a count 0-2. Outside it goes. And the 1-2 to Aviles. Strike 3 called. And we'll go to the 9th. 7-2 Boston. Stay tuned after the game for Indians Live, brought to you by Conrad's Tire Express and Total Car Care. 7-2, Boston, 9th inning. Brian Shaw, who got the last out of the 8th, will stay on. Mike Napoli 2 for 4. He started and ended the 2nd inning for all intents and purposes. Started it with a leadoff double, and his 3-run double made it 7-0 Boston, and that's been it.
Well, yeah, since that inning, they have 3 hits, but their last hit came with 1 out in the 4th inning. The Indians' bullpen has tightened it down, really done a great job tonight. All things considered.
Bullpen has struck out 12. Boy, Napoli almost came out of his toe hold on that swing and foul back.
Not almost. He did. Nice.
He got him.
Nice pitch.
Second strikeout for Shaw, 1 down in the 9th.
Well, this is going to be our McDonald's. I'm loving it. We're going to take a look at that Indians bullpen tonight. Started with Cody Allen. He came on. Nick Hagedorn. Allen had 6 strikeouts. Nick had 3. Hill had a couple. Shaw now has a couple. They've been outstanding. They really have. They've done exactly what you need to do when you fall behind like that. So, I mean, you got to give them their kudos, their pats on the back. They've been great. They were let down tonight by another bad start by Ubaldo Jimenez.
Strike called over the outside corner to Will Middlebrooks. Middlebrooks is 0 for 3. And he chased a high heater, and he won't catch up to 95 up there. It's 1-2. The Indians took the field tonight to the tune of Neil Diamond's Sweet Caroline, which has for many years been a traditional song at Fenway Park in Boston. And also at Yankee Stadium in New York tonight in the 3rd inning. They played Sweet Caroline in honor of the Boston Red Sox. Classy move by the Yankees, and obviously everybody knows the bitter rivalry that exists between Boston and New York, but in times like this it all melts away. Swung on and missed, and Brian Shaw has struck out all 3 that he has faced. And now he'll face Daniel Nava, who is trying to avoid striking out for the 5th time in this game.
Uh-oh, you don't want that. There you'll see it. Comes right up above the belt. Tough to get that barrel head of the bat out to just get a piece of it. And he throws it by him.
What's the moniker for 5?
Poof. Quit. It's one of those days where, you know, it doesn't matter.
Here's the hat trick, the golden sombrero, and oh, Mike Karp is now hitting. This is not Daniel Nava.
See?
Again, sometimes it's hard to tell with all the players wearing number 42, but they're not going to let Daniel Nava even have a chance to strike out 5 times.
Why not? Nothing wrong with that.
Well, Mike Karp did it for him. What a job by Brian Shaw. He strikes out all 4 that he faces here tonight. We go to the bottom of the ninth. Jackie Bradley Jr. taking over in left field for Daniel Nava. Lonnie Chisenhall will lead off the bottom of the ninth for the Tribe, and Alex Wilson's pitch in for a strike. The 1-1 is down low. 2 balls and a strike. We're right back with you tomorrow night. Indians Red Sox. Justin Masterson tries to stay perfect on the air against Alfredo Aceves. We'll have it for you at 7 o'clock, starting with Indians Live at 6:30. Bouncer to second base. Pedroia had a little trouble with it, and he throws on the mark to get him one away. Stay tuned after the game for Indians Live, brought to you by Conrad's Tire Express and Total Car Care. Court Phelps just got the call up today, and the Indians sent Omir Santos back down, and Court Phelps will get a chance to hit here. Phelps opened a lot of eyes in spring training this year with the new staff. Frank Kona and the coaches liked the fact that he was willing to work hard at different positions on the diamond. They felt like, hey, if you can swing the bat and maybe make yourself a little more versatile, can give you an option, another option to get yourself to the big leagues. So they wanted him to work some at first base. Obviously, he can play second. And so for Cord Phelps, it's just that good attitude, good work habits. Little tap or foul. One-two count. Right back to the mound. 2 down. So it brings Drew Stubbs to the plate with 2 down in the ninth. And Boston in front 7-2. Up high. Ripped to left field, a base hit for Drew Stubbs. Bradley goes over to cut it off. Stubbs a wide turn, and he'll hold with a 2-out single. So Stubbs aboard, and Asdrubal Cabrera coming to the plate. Asdrubal Cabrera on the night, 1 for 4. Base hit back in the 5th inning. Stubbs will take off for second base as Cabrera looks at ball 1 down low. Well, Drew Stubbs has been on base 3 times tonight. Couple of walks and now a single. Alex Wilson has made 24 pitches in the ballgame, 13 of those for strikes, 11 balls, and that's been a familiar theme, especially for Boston pitchers tonight. Even though they've been working with the lead almost the entire game, just the inability to attack, be aggressive, and you have to give credit to Indians hitters who haven't just gone up there and given at bats away. They've battled and tried to work the count. It's been a frustrating night for the offense because they have had opportunities to pick up a run here or there, but
all hits
two
are
on
singles.
the board.
Yeah, all hits are singles tonight too.
Two balls and a strike to count on Cabrera. A little bit inside, and the count 3-1. Minnesota's opened up a 7-4 lead over the Angels. They're in the 6th at Target Field in Minneapolis. The Indians on the night are just 2 for 14 with a runner on base. And a chopper to first should end it. Napoli will take it himself, and Boston takes the series opener by a final score of 7-2. So Boston taking advantage of the generosity on the part of Ubaldo Jimenez with the 5 walks in the second inning, explode out to a 7-0 lead, and they cruise to the series opening win 7-2. Boston has now won 4 straight. They're 9-4, and the Indians have dropped 2 in a row. They are now 5-7 on the year. Time now for our key play of the game, brought to you by KeyBank.
Well, you look at the 1 inning, and that's the second inning for the Boston Red Sox, and it's going to be bases loaded and a 2-out bases clearing double for Mike Napoli. He had the 3 RBIs. He scored a run on his first double going the other way. That capped off a 7-run second inning, and that's all Boston needed for the night. That came off. All the runs were charged to Ubaldo Jimenez, but the double came off Cody Allen.
KeyBank, proud to be the banking home of the Cleveland Indians. So Boston takes the series opener. They win it by a final of 7-2. We're going to break it all down for you when we come back next on Indians Live.